Welcome everyone, and football is back, my favorite time of the year, and that also means that Madden 22 has released, and here it is. If you're new to this channel, what I do around here is I play a realistic franchise mode. So, what we're going to do in here is just look through the franchise, some of the new stuff that's going on here. We're going to play one game, just see my impressions of the game, and also talk about the upcoming franchise that I will be playing this year, and what team we're going to be going with, when we're going to start it, and we'll go through all that. But I want to see all the new franchise stuff. I'm sure some of you guys have seen some of the videos, but looking at the HUD, seeing some of the new stuff around here, obviously there is a big update coming in September to the scouting. So that is going to be completely changing for sure. And that's where really we're going to start with the franchise talk. Normally, right now, I'd be ready to go. We'd have franchise episode 1 coming up with the team we are going with. Ready to rebuild a team and bring a Super Bowl like our last franchise. And we've done plenty before, but the Dolphins one last year was fantastic. So if you've not seen that or are new to the channel, check that one out. That was a great one in Madden 21. We had a bunch of Hall of Famers. It was fun to play with, and obviously it's always great to come on here, build a team, and that's where we would probably be. But with the whole scouting update coming in September, now I have no idea what date it's going to be. Obviously, I can only hope that it would be the beginning of September so they could get that out quickly. I mean, I would think you would try to get it out as quickly as possible without it breaking, obviously, the game. But because of that, you would have to restart your franchise, and I think the whole thing is I'm not going to start a franchise until that update comes out. But that doesn't mean the Madden content's not going to be here. We are going to do as much as we possibly can, jump into a few games, might check out, face of the franchise. That's really up to you guys if you like to see that. I'm obviously not the biggest fan of those type of modes, but, we can do it if there's no really franchise. Maybe do something with a fantasy draft. Maybe just do single player, career to start out. If you guys want to see some of the rookies, that's a possibility. We can do that. But taking a look at this franchise HUD, it's definitely a little bit cleaner for sure. Maybe a little bit easier to get through. The headlines, I wish you could just click on those headlines just to see even more in-depth news story. I do like the week schedule. That is cool to see. You can see kind of the big matchups without really going into the schedule and the stats on the side. Obviously, for the game planning this year, practice, stuff like that, that is a big thing, and that's finally, it should be. Practice is huge. Game planning is the biggest thing in football, no doubt about it. You spend that whole week watching film, trying to get tendencies. I like the play calling report right there, the situation, what percentages they use, are they going to run, are they going to draw? So that is awesome to see. I really like that. I know they've tried to implement this, before, and it's really just been very minimal, but hopefully they get more in depth with this, because this is what it should be. You got to be, I want to feel like I'm really game planning for a team and really trying to figure out what they're going to do. And obviously, football, like any game, even if you game plan it, you make adjustments on the fly. So I think the halftime adjustments things is going to be great as well. Now, I'm not expecting, huge improvements right now, but at least it's a nice base. Maybe going into next year's franchise. It's just something different. Something, as I just went on to rant the other day about the show franchise, where we haven't really gotten a whole lot with that lately. It's good to finally see that maybe they're changing some things around a franchise. I know this is kind of, a dying mode, and everybody goes, for the card pulling, everything like that, mutton, that's just not my scene. It's more of the franchise, obviously, and that's all I want to do, and it's good to at least see that more changes are happening, more upgrades, and that is really good to see. And obviously, we'll see how the gameplay is as well. As you can see, these new little cutscenes, and this, I think, reminds me of FIFA. If you've ever played FIFA, if you're doing like in the manager mode, they definitely have these little cutscenes. It's cool. Obviously, it's going to be the same kind of cutscenes every now and then, but it's just something interesting, something different, and I kind of like it. I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. Another step in the right direction for sure. Definitely like the little cutscenes. I think they'll do this for trades as well. So if you kind of trade a guy, I think I've seen something where Khalil Mack is retired in like week 5 or 6 or something like that if the Bears weren't doing well. So that's really, but it was a cutscene. It's very weird to see. As we're just going to go through so everybody can see what the ratings for each team is. And as for our franchise team, so that's probably what you're thinking. What franchise team am I going to use? There was a poll in the previous Madden video, and obviously I took into credit the comments as well. So, the franchise team that we're going to be using this year is, speaking of Khalil Mack, is the Chicago Bears. The Bears won the poll, no doubt about it, and that's the team we're going to be rolling with come franchise time. But as we jump into this gameplay, I wanted to see Trevor Lawrence. I wanted to see the Jaguars' first overall pick, and really I wanted to see Travis Etienne as well. That's an intriguing player. So we're going to step into this first game and take a look, just some of the gameplay, go through real quick, see some of my impressions, what I'm thinking about, what's looking good, and I'll just let you know right off the bat. Right now, this is just on default All Pro. I haven't even stepped into All Madden yet. Obviously, when we play franchise, it's going to be All Madden. And, will the sliders need major adjustments? That's the thing. It's always a big thing every year, trying to adjust the sliders, getting to the right point, and hopefully we don't need much adjustment. So seeing this pregame stuff, that's always cool to see. I like some different stuff. Now, obviously, most people probably don't care about that. You just probably skip over it. But for me, trying to get presentation of a franchise, it's always cool to see different stuff, different interpretations. I wish they did different things for like Sunday Night Football or a Monday Night Football or even a Thursday Night Football. That would be very cool to see. As here comes Trevor Lawrence, the first overall pick, and you can see the new momentum meters for each team, and that is very cool to see. Now, I just want to see how easy it is to switch up the momentum. So, is it hard to get it back? Is it easy? We'll see as we run this first play. Just a pitch forward to Laviska Shenault for nothing. But that's what we really want to see is 4th and 1. We go for it with James Robinson and look at the run. So I'm seeing up front the blocking not too bad. Now, obviously, the Texans' front four, not the greatest, really. So I want to see how the pass rush is. Like I said, this is just on All Pro. You can see a screen pass kind of working there to ETN. Maybe had room to the outside, but so far not really seeing a heavy pass rush. Now, not like I said, this is the Texans. No J.J. Watt anymore as Robinson using that speed. And I could be wrong, but I think the running animations for me look a little bit smoother. They look smoother. It looks more like you're actually accelerating and trying to, burst. Where a lot of the times you didn't really see that. And last year, I know, getting into next gen, it was a completely different thing. A lot of guys thought, your players are almost half running in the mud. But it does feel a little bit smoother right now this year, as Lawrence is going to fire that one. Find Laviska Shenault for the touchdown. But we're seeing it. Yeah, not much of a pass rush at all. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive line compared to this Texans, I don't know what you're really going to get. But you can see, nobody's even there. And most of this game really didn't get much of a pass rush at all. So maybe that's a little bit concerned to see the trenches up front. And that's always been an issue for Madden, the offensive line blocking. You could have a guy that's, a 98 overall left tackle, and he faces off against a, end that's 75 overall and just gets beat all day. So, always need improvements on the offensive line, and hopefully that improves, and that gets a lot better. As you can see, we have switched the momentum around after the touchdown, so that's cool to see. But that's a miscommunication. Looks like DJ Shark did not run the actual route correctly as Trevor Lawrence showing some. He just lays them out there. That's what I wanted to see as well. How the route running is, purposely through that pass. Always want to see the improvements because I know they changed up to the animations. It's no longer a two-player animation supposedly with the catching where you would get some weird stuff. It's kind of a one-on-one and each player does their own thing. So I know they changed that up on purpose, so kind of want to see it there. But DJ Shark just ran a very, very poor route, that is for sure. As there you can see finally some pressure getting to the outside, but they had to bring a nickel blitz to get it. So maybe it's just the Texans that I'm not seeing any pressure. But you can see if I would have just stepped in that pocket and not rolled out, that's my own fault right there of getting, pressure on me, but still Trevor Lawrence makes the throw. But I'd have to say, all in all, so far, the gameplay is good. It does obviously remind me a little bit of last year. There's no doubt about that. But I still think this is kind of in the phase. They're going to have a day one patch for sure, and I think things are going to change up a little bit. I would say a little bit more polished in the graphics almost. I would, for Stadium, the lighting's a little bit, I don't know how to say, maybe just a tad bit off at the moment. I think that needs to be a little bit more improved. But we'll see what happens also after the day one patch. This is just EA Play. I know this is kind of more the actual game, but I think they'll patch it day one. But you could see the halftime adjustments, and that's very cool to see. I really like that. I mean, this happens in real life. Now, I know at halftime in a real NFL game, you only have about 12 minutes. So really making any time, making adjustments that quickly, you can't always, have massive adjustments. But it's minor adjustments here and there. That's what made, to me, Bill Belichick the best head coach in football. I mean, his ability to adjust during the game, see how everything's flowing, and not get caught up in, hey, we run the football, we're going to run the football no matter what. No, if it's not working, let's try the pass. Let's try different things. And that's definitely a big part of being successful in the NFL. Obviously, still need talent. And speaking of talent, there's Travis Etienne with the run. Good to see his speed. You can see the acceleration of him just taking off. So that's what you want as well. You want to feel the feel of actually speedy guys. And I did there with Etienne. As there we go down the field. That's going to be a touchdown. Nice throw by Trevor Lawrence as Marvin Jones Jr. gets the 2 feet in bounds. Just in bounds. It was very close. But clean pocket. Lawrence fires. And it's going to be interesting to see the season that Lawrence has. You never know. You just, people, with the scouting, it's so tough. You think these guys are going to be good. You just really never know how they're going to really go into the NFL. But I'm not sure how that looks like Urban Meyer, but that looks terrible. But that is the gameplay right there. It's really cool to see the results afterwards. You can see more of the game planning, how it's going to go. You can see the season goal right there. The summary of what you did for the week. So I like the game planning. I really like how franchise is working out right now. I think, even with the scouting, it's going to get even better. I like the passing stats on the side. That's really cool. So you can see the weekly performers. Now, the question is that going to show top performers of the week, or is that going to show league leaders? My guess, it'll probably show league leaders. It's kind of cool just to see a few here and there, so you don't have to go in technically in full stats, and you can just see what's going on, see the big matchups of the week. And I think that would be cool to see, delve more into the matchups of the week, and maybe, as we get in this Bears franchise, which we're going to be, pay attention to what's going on to the teams in the division, see the weekly matchups, and take a look every week of, how do the Packers do? How did the Lions do? That's what we want to see going forward, and I think that's what we're going to do for our franchise. But it's going to be a little bit till a franchise comes out. We'll wait for the scouting update, but after that, it's going to be bam, bam, bam. We're going to hit you with franchise pretty much every day and get through it. But so far, I would say Madden 22 looks pretty good. We'll see what happens with the day one patch, but I can't wait to get going. Cannot wait. Football season's fantastic, and I hope you guys can come along, join me for the franchise, and we'll get going. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new, please subscribe and like. I will see you in the next one. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye.